What up, fellow agents? PurePrime here. Today we're gonna talk about all the weapon buffs and nerfs that they showed us in the Wave 2 BTS patch updates. And the SMGs and the Marksman Rifles got an enormous buff, guys. Are you ready? Let's go! And guys, just like I promised, I'm gonna show you all the weapon buffs and nerfs in a quick and simple video, and you have a clear view what is going to happen in TU6. The SMGs and the Marksman Rifles are getting an enormous boost, guys. A nice buff. Finally, maybe that SMG is coming back. But that Marksman Rifle, definitely, guys, definitely. With the new talents with it, I'm curious to make a rifle build now. And I'm gonna start with the ARs and the LMGs. And guys, I'm gonna show you like this. So we're gonna start with the ARs, and those on the left side, and in the middle you can see the LMGs. Some of the pictures aren't correct, but it's about all the data, guys. So let's start. The ACR will get a 3% damage buff. The AUG will get a 3% damage buff. The Carbine 7 will get an 8% damage buff. The F2000 will get 5% damage buff. The Fall will get a 3% damage buff. The G36 will get a 3% damage buff and less damage drop off past optimal range. The M4 will get a 10% damage buff. The CTAR will get a 8% damage buff. And the P416 will get a 5% damage nerf. And then for the LMGs, guys, we got that HK121 is get a damage buff of 9%. The KAG will get a damage buff of 5%. The RPK will get a damage buff of 5%. The SA80 will get a damage buff of 6%. The M249 will get a damage nerf from 4%. And our beloved M60 will get a damage nerf from 10%. So these are all the ARs and the LMGs, guys. But let's get over to the rifles and the Marksman Rifles, guys. Let's go! Okay, the left side is rifles, the middle two are rifles as well, and the right side are Marksman Rifles. So let's begin with the rifles. The ACR SS will get a damage buff of 19%. The M16 will get a damage buff of 68%. That's insane. That's an insane buff. Then we got the M1A Classic that will get a 39% damage buff. The M1A SOCOM will get a 30% damage buff. The M1A CQB will get a damage buff of 30%. The M4 Lightweight will get a damage buff of 11%. The LVOAC will get a damage buff of 12%. The MK17 will get a damage buff of 17%. And the SIG will get a damage nerf from 7%. The MDR will get a 16% damage buff and will get less damage drop off past optimal range. The 1886 will get a damage buff of 20% and will get less damage drop off past optimal range. And then for the snipers, guys, our Marksman Rifles. The M700 Tactical will get a buff from 19%. The M700 Carbon will get a buff from 19% as well. The M44 Carbine will get a damage buff of 14%. The M44 Hunting will get an 8% damage buff. The M44 Custom will get a 19% damage buff. And the SRS will get an 11% damage buff. So these were all the rifles and Marksman Rifles, guys. Let's get over to our last part, and those are the SMGs. And they buffed a lot of SMGs, guys. Let's see. The AUG will get a 15% damage increase. The MP5 will get a 13% damage increase. The MP7 will get a 7% damage increase. The MPX will get 38% damage increase. So an enormous buff for the MPX. It's very nice. The P90 will get 25% damage increase. The SMG9 will get a buff from 6%. The Thompson will get a buff from 12%. The Tommy gun will get a buff from 6%. The Tactical Vector will get a buff of 21%. I'm already loving that Vector, and now with the 21% extra damage, nice. This could be a very good addition to my crit build. Then we got the Vector SBR9 will get a 17% damage increase, and the Vector .45 ACP will get a 25% damage increase. So that's a nice Vector to look out for as well. And for the last two, we got the UMP45. It's got a 14% damage increase and less damage drop off past optimal range. And then for our last gun, the T821 will get a damage nerf from 8%. But yeah guys, it was quick. I think it was very clear. Please come back if you like to see more, or just screenshot it of course. But yeah, that's it for today guys. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course the notification bell. PurePrime out.